Yo, what is going on, traders? So today we are going to look at a huge futures prop firm called TopStep. Now, everyone's been talking about TopStep for the last couple days because they just announced that they will exclusively be offering Project X, which is a trading platform that they had been licensing to other prop firms. So everyone kind of got used to it. And now they're taking it back all for themselves, which is a pretty smart play on their end, in my opinion. I don't know if it's ethical or not, but anyway, let's take a look at this prop firm. Now, the one thing about TopStep is they are extremely competitive. I'm not affiliated with them, so this is going to be a complete, honest overview of the firm itself. And I want to highlight some pros and cons of this firm, and then you can decide, hey, is this something that you might want to try for yourself? And we can also talk about the best way to pass these evals as well. So watch the end of the video because you will dramatically increase your success rate with any Forex or futures challenge. If you follow me, if you listen to my content, it can be a game changer. I will leave a bunch of resources in the description of the video. Check those out as well. So this is a futures prop firm, okay, not a Forex. But if you trade Forex, you can trade futures. I traded Forex all of 2024, and then I started trading futures 2025. It took me literally a week, and I was pretty much totally fine after a week of just trying it out. I trade gold too. So if you trade gold, that even helps more because you can trade XAU USD on Forex, and GC1 is the equivalent to that. One contract futures equals one lot Forex. It's like the same thing. So don't be overwhelmed. Just try it out on a low risk, cheap evaluation and get the feel for it. And then you'll just see, oh, I should have done this sooner. So the one thing I really like about TopStep is their rules are so simple, so clean, and they market it like that too. One rule, one goal. What is that one rule? I don't really know. I think it's consistency. That's the one rule that they have. You need to stay within a 50% consistency. But other than the fact that you need to hit specific profit targets before reaching a specific level of drawdown, that would be the other rule. So maybe it should say two rules. I don't know. But one rule is definitely the consistency. So let's go down and look at this. I don't know why that's not popping up. Go away. There we go. Let's look at their evaluation model. So it's very clean. I love it when prop firms do this. They have a very clean homepage, and TopStep understands that with these prop firms that you see that offer like 10 different challenge types and different types within the challenge types, they are shooting themselves in the foot. People get overwhelmed. I'm like an expert in prop firm trading, and when I see 10 different products, I don't even want to try to start figuring out which one's the best one. I want a clean offer. I want few choices, and if they're competitive, it will speak for itself. So that's what they do. They have three challenge sizes, but one challenge type: 50K, 100K, and 150K. Now, which one's the best one to take? That's a little bit of a complicated question, but I think for the vast majority of people watching, the 50K is going to be the best bet. And that's because it's a little bit more forgiving if you're figuring it out, and if your pass rate isn't as high as it needs to be. You don't need like 100% pass rate, but even if you have like a 25% pass rate, which would still be above average, I think maybe the average pass rate is between 10 and 15% with retail traders, which is pathetically low, unfortunately. But the 50K here is good because it's only $49 upfront. Now, that's good because when you breach an account, which you will, it doesn't sting as bad than if you pay 150 upfront. So this is the one thing about TopStep. They have a flat activation fee of $149 across all the sizes. So even though you're probably thinking like, oh, that means the 150K is better because I'm going to pay 150 for a 50K, and I'm going to pay the same for 150K. But if you look at this closely, you can see that the max loss limit is 4% on the 50K, right? The max loss limit on the 100K and the 150K is 3%. I know 1% doesn't sound like a lot, right? But when you're dealing with these lower drawdown allowances, 3 or 4%, that actually increases your probability to have an extra percent by 25%. You are 25% more likely to pass the 50K than you are the 150K. So it is completely worth it to take the 50K that offers more drawdown. It's more forgiving. There's and when you're funded, you will have more drawdown on your funded as well. So there are just so many reasons why. Don't get greedy. Take the 50K. You can still, they have a rule. Hey, another rule that I thought of, that you can only have 5 funded accounts at once. So you might as well stack 5 of these together. That's 250K of funding. Okay. That is going to be enough to achieve your goals with one single prop firm. You don't need to have these 20 accounts like you see people doing with Apex. Even if you were successful with 20 accounts, if TopStep allowed it and you had 20 funded accounts and you were stacking them all, you're going to risk yourself getting banned faster than you even know, because you cannot juice these prop firms on 20 funded accounts and cost them like 30-40K a month. They will not allow it. They will find a way to make you disappear. So the 50K is good. You can stack them. You can buy all 5 at once, or you can buy, if you want to do all 5, you can start a new one every day. That way you're kind of diversifying the risk here. Now let's talk about the rules. So the best thing about TopStep is the clean rules, like I said. So there's a 50% consistency. If you don't know what that means, let's say I need 3,000 profit to pass, right? That means I can't make more than half of that in a single day. Now, every single prop firm usually resets at 5 to 6 p.m. Eastern time. So if I took a trade at 9 a.m. Eastern and won $1,500, I wouldn't be able to take another trade until after 6 p.m. Eastern, and then I could take my second trade. So it doesn't have to be 24 hours apart. It just has to be on the opposite sides of the market reset. You know what I mean? So that is the one rule, and that is exactly the best way to trade. The evals, you're going to see, a lot of people try to be responsible and like, hey, I'm only going to risk like 0.5% per trade and do like a 1 to 3 hour trade. And you're just going to be exposing yourself to potential drawdown. It is better to just target that 1,500 in one trade, find a nice trade setup, and target that 1,500. How much should you risk? Risk the maximum drawdown. If we're talking about pure probability, let's throw this idea of, what you've learned about risk to reward out the window. That can apply to live trading, your own accounts. But when you're prop firm trading, we're playing a very specific game, and the game does well if you have a higher drawdown allowance and a higher win rate, because we only need to hit 2 wins in a row and we're done with the account. So what is the most likely way to hit 2 wins in a row? Well, having a trade where you're targeting 1,500 profit and you're risking 2,000 drawdown, right? You have a better chance to win the trade right when you open it than you do to lose it. And you only need 2 wins in a row and you've passed. That's how simple it can be. Let's not complicate it. Let's play the prop firm game with an edge, okay? If you want to trade with these higher RRs or your specific strategy that requires you to risk 0.5% and you're going for 3% or whatever, go trade your own live capital. That's way better to do than to do in a prop firm setting. That's from my experience, and if you want to do that as well, please be my guest and see how it feels, because everyone that switches over to this inverse model that I teach in my Discord, they're like, oh, I wish I would have done this sooner. I wouldn't have done 20 challenges in a row. So when you buy the 50K, all you have to do, like I said, day 1, target 1,500 profit. Day 2, target 1,500 profit. You might, because of commission costs, you might be like $20 short day 3. It's really hard to get that perfect 50% consistency. You can do it, but it's difficult. So day 3, you're likely going to have to make like $20. Okay. And to do that, you want to use micro gold contracts if you're trading gold, or a micro contract with whatever asset you're trading, and just target $20. Use one micro contract, target $20, right? So you can do that to push it over the edge. Then once you're funded, once you pass, you have to pay this activation fee, 149, right? But the really interesting thing is I heard a rumor that they might be removing the activation fee. And if they do that, TopStep is going to be one of the most insanely competitive prop firms out there. They already are competitive, right? But they're going to be insanely competitive. Now, I think they might have to adjust their upfront costs a little bit. I don't think they can be selling challenges for $50 without an activation fee. I just don't think that's possible. So maybe they might move this up to like $75. That would make sense, right? So $75 for 50K still wouldn't be too bad, but I highly doubt that they're just going to remove the activation fee without bumping up the price to make up the difference a little bit at least. So that would be really, really powerful. Now, once you're funded, let's go to a couple pages here. This is all you have to do when you're funded. So this is the FAQ Express Funded Account Parameters. So all you have to do is right here, the rules, right? Do not allow this is the one rule, I guess. Do not allow your balance to hit or exceed the maximum loss limit, which is $2,000 on the 50K. Well, there's some other rules. Okay, so it's not just one rule. The other rule is for a payout, you need 5 profitable days of 150. So you have to plan for that. And you have to follow a scaling plan, which is another rule. And basically the scaling plan just shows, I'll show you here, open link in new tab. The scaling plan looks like this. So on a 50K account, if you have below 1,500 profit, you can only do 2 lots max. As soon as you exceed that profit, you can do 3 lots. I would just recommend staying at 2 lots, especially if you trade gold on a 50K. 2 lots is enough unless you're scalping or something. But just to play it safe, just to not give them a reason to like look at your account, keep it at 2 lots. Keep it at 2 lots. Unless you have like 10K profit in there and you can easily do 5 lots if you really want to. Keeping it at 2 lots until you're at least, 3, 4K in the profit is just safer. Because I don't know how technical it gets. They might say like, okay, you could do 3 lots above 1,500, but can your equity dip below 1,500? I don't know. You'd have to find that out. So that could be an issue, right? So I think it's safer just to stay at 2 lots. So that's the scaling plan that they have. And then the daily loss limit is actually removed. So that's another really awesome thing. We don't like trading with futures prop firms with daily loss limits because we can't do the proper inverse trading that is important with easier success. And that is why futures prop firms put daily loss limits on, because they know if they have them, it decreases the pass rate by quite a bit. But you also have customers that don't like it, so you lose customers. So it's a trade-off, right? And with prop firms, that's always going to be the case. The less rules you have, the more potential customers you can get. But the more risk you expose to your prop firm for these massive payouts. So it's a balance, right? So let's take a look at the other payout conditions. Now, let's say a hypothetical situation here. I need to make 5 trading days of 150. So I'm going to pull up my notepad here. So I have a fresh 50K funded account. Okay, what should I do here in this situation for a payout? Well, let's go back to here. Oh, sorry, that's the wrong page. Here we go. Let's go back to here. And let's go to the payout conditions. So we can request up to $5,000 or 50% of the account balance. So that means like if I made $3,000 on the account over 5 days, 5 profitable days, then I can request $1,500 of that. So the question becomes, we have to think about a few important things here. We have to consider a couple important things. And this is really going to help you long term to build a roadmap. When you get a funded account, it's important to build a roadmap for what you envision, or else you're just opening and closing trades, hoping to get profit. You have no goal in mind, and eventually you're just going to trade that thing until you lose. It's like the gambling mentality. Like you go to the casino, you play roulette, and you win like the first 3 spins, but then you stay. And you slowly lose money until eventually you're completely out of money. So the same thing can happen with a funded account if you don't have a clear goal. If I go to this casino and I have a clear goal of, hey, I have $500, I'm leaving if I hit $1,500. no matter what. Boom. And then you are much more likely to leave the casino with money. So if I have a 50K account, what I normally would like to do, because there's this thing called end of day trailing drawdown, if I go to 53K, like we talked about, I have 3,000 profit. So I can withdraw 1,500. I get a $1,500 payout after 5 days. But the problem with that is now I only have 1,500 left of drawdown, because the drawdown trails up to the starting balance. So because my balance is, after the withdraw, it's 51.5K, that means I have 1.5K of drawdown left. So you have to think about, is that enough drawdown in your account to start trading again? And I think in this situation, it isn't too bad, but it would be worse. I'll give you another example. If you target, oops, wrong one. It would be worse if we had less than that. I think that would be the breaking point. So I would actually recommend targeting about 3,000 profit on your funded accounts. And how that would look like is, on day one, I would probably target about 2,400 profit in one trade. Okay, so I'm going to be doing a little over a one-to-one risk to reward trade. Oh, sorry, I forgot about the 50% consistency. Let me fix this. I meant to say I would probably target 1,200 day one. Okay, day two, I do the same thing. Okay, so now I have 2 profitable trading days that's above 150, and I have 2,400 in the account. Okay, so we're at a really good start. And these are both inverse trades. I'm risking $2,000, right, to potentially make 1,200. So the probability of winning this trade is actually quite a bit in my favor. Same with day two. There's going to be times when you unfortunately breach your account on the first trade, and that's just going to happen. But the good thing is we can always take new evaluations, okay? We can always take new evaluations. So this model here will give you the best long-term success. So you have $2,400 after day two, and you stayed within a 50% consistency, right? Now, day 3 to 5, all we want to do is target the minimum profitable trading day amount, which is 150. So when you're setting these trades up, I would recommend targeting 175, because with commission or potential slippage, that could push, if you go too tight, like if I targeted 160, it's very likely that some slippage or some commission costs or whatever can actually close my trade a little bit below 150, and then your trade isn't going to count as a trading day, and it is very annoying. It's happened to me a few times. I've been targeting 175. That has been a pretty good range. Usually the trade closes at like 160. So I'm just a little bit above that 150 breaking point. So I'm safe. So now if we've done this, you can pull up the calculator. Okay, so day 1 is 1,200. Day 2, 1,200, right? Or 2,400. Day 3, 175. Day 4, 175. Day 5, 175. So we are pretty much at almost 3,000. You could go a little bit more. You could go 185 if you want to try to get exactly 3,000, but that's close enough. So the good thing about this model here is that you can withdraw, you can keep all of your trades inverse, which does very well in these low target futures prop firm settings, and you can withdraw 1,500 if you hit that 3,000 mark, and you still have 1,500, so you can run it again. And then the second time you run it, you don't need to do these 1,200 trades because you already have somewhat of a buffer in there. So the second time you run it, you say you get that payout, you get that payout for 1500. And the second time you run it, you'll have 1500 left. So if you need 1500 more to bring yourself back up to that 3000 marks for another withdrawal, you want to do that over 5 days. So if you want another 500, so day one, if you want another 1500, sorry, day one, we could divide it up. Remember the 50% consistency. So let's just do this. Let's keep it simple. Let's go 1500 divided by 2, right? 750. Well, we know we need 5 days total, so we could go like this. We could go day one, 600. Day two, same. And then day 3 to 5 would be 175 again. So let's do that math. How much is that going to get me? So we have 600 plus 600. Sorry, can you see that? Yeah, you can. 600 plus 600, that's 1200, plus 175 plus 175 plus 175 equals. So we have made 1725 plus the 1500 we already had on the account when we started. So our total balance is going to be 3225. Where you can, after 5 days, you can request half of that again, and you can just keep running that model over and over and over again until finally you breach the account. But I'm telling you, with these inverse models, guys, you are going to see, you're going to have massive success streaks. You could hit payouts for months in a row like this if you're running hot. If you have multiple accounts and you're doing this and you're not trading them all at the same time, you'll always have a payout coming in, like every week, at least on 1 or 2 accounts. It would be very, very unlikely that you wouldn't. So that's how powerful using these risk kind of concepts can be when you're trading with a prop firm like TopStep here that have very simple, clean rules. So that's TopStep in a nutshell. So let's see how they go. Project X is a good platform, super easy to use. If you haven't tried TopStep yet, give it a try. You know, I don't have a promo code or anything for them, but I would like you to give it a try with the risk models I talk about here in this video. And if it's been successful for you, just let me know, like in my Discord, or try to send me a DM on Instagram or a comment on Instagram. I'm more likely to see because I get DMs like with my ManyChat like hundreds per day. So that's hard for me to see. So I hope that was helpful, guys. And please subscribe if you haven't subscribed. I appreciate it. And I will see you on the next one. All right. Good luck. Peace.